Hey guys, it's Venom here with the deck profile. I'll be profiling today my Machina-Lefics. The original idea from the deck. I was trying to build a deck very similar to this, not exactly this exact deck build, because obviously I never found a deck build that worked. Been trying to work on this deck ever since the Malefics had really came out. I really wanted to abuse them with Machinas and the Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragon engine. But I was also trying to throw in like gadgets and stuff like that, and it just wasn't working quite well. Thanks to a guy who just recently top 32'd with his deck. He called it Machina-Lefics also, so of course I'm gonna give a shout out to him. Thank you to Brendan Beckman. He got top 32 with almost this exact build. He's got a few variations different, but and he's got a little bit larger of a deck. I don't have the extra side deck just like normal. Sorry for you guys. I'll try to start working on decks so I can actually get everything for it and show you the whole deck. Hopefully this will be my deck for this format, so I'll be following this deck, hopefully. It's the one I like the most so far, but I'm not sure if it's as good as I'm seeing it to be. So let's go ahead and jump to the deck profile. First up for the monsters, you've got triple Malefic Cyber and Dragon. He's your big beater of the deck, 4,000 with skill drain on board. You can have multiple out, and with a field spell on the board, you can have multiple out, but you just can't. You can only have one out if you... wait. Yeah, you can only have one of it out if you don't have the skill drain, but once you get skill drain, you can poop two out on the board, and it's just really good. But anyways, this is the only Malefic you run. That's all. That's the only Malefic you really need, because that's the only Malefic that's really, truly amazing. Then you've got triple Machina Fortress. Almost every single monster card in this deck, you can just discard the graveyard to bring this guy back out. And with Necro Valley on the field, this guy can still target, or he doesn't target, so his effect is unaffected by the effect of Necro Valley. So you can have him in graveyard and get him out through his own effect. Next up is the Machina Cannon to ditch for Machina Fortress. Then you've got 3 Machina Gear Frames, which can search out Cannon or Fortress, obviously. That's the only guy that you can normal summon, really, in your own turn. The rest of them you're going to special summon. And then finally, you've got 2 Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragons. This guy is easily abused in this variant of the deck because if you do draw into him, he's not dead in your hand. He's an 8-star machine type, which helps Machina Fortress a lot. So therefore, he's good in deck, he's good in hand, he's good everywhere. He's just a good card in general. And plus, he's a 3,000 beater that keeps Mirror Force and other whatnots from happening. So it's just such a good card. That's all the monsters I run. Brendan Beckman also ran a cyber dragon, just one cyber dragon for I forgot exactly why. I think he said it was mainly for Thunder King, and I believe he also ran 3 card Ds, so that way. Don't get me wrong. I really like the idea of card D in the deck. It's just I personally don't want to run it because I personally dislike card D. I like it in certain decks, but not in this deck. But the reason why you would run it in this deck is because it's a level 2, so you can discard it alongside of Machina Fortress if your Fortress, or if your card D you draw it late game. If you have a Fortress in your hand, you can just ditch them both for Fortress. So it's a good card, and then if you have it turn 1, obviously you're going to use it. So it's a good card, it's just I personally don't prefer to use it. Now entering the spells, you got 3 Gear Towns. I know I have 3, I just can't find my other 2 somewhere else. I got lazy when I built the deck and just didn't feel like finding all the cards for it. So, triple Gear Town, this is for your Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragons. Obviously, it's your key field spell. 2 Necro Valleys. Once you've gotten at least 1 or 2 Gear Towns destroyed, you'll want to get this card out. And this card is pretty much just to hurt your opponent as much as you possibly can. The deck not only gives them a 4K and 2,500 and 3K beat sticks to have to deal with, but it also gives them little to no access to their graveyard and no access to their monster's effects and very little access to removal of my cards. So the deck runs fairly well in my opinion. And obviously to get those you want triple terraforming. You want at least 1 or 2 Gear Towns in hand and 1 Necro Valley in hand as quickly as possible. 2 Pot of Dualities, you don't have to special summon every single turn, so you can activate this just to set up. And plus, this is one of the decks you can take a little bit of damage because you're just going to put out a 4,000 beater, so it's not like it really matters if they deal any damage to you. Because in the end, you'll just smash their faces in. Triple MSTs, I personally do not run Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, or Heavy Storm in this deck for many reasons. Monster Reborn, you run Necro Valley. Any deck that runs Necro Valley honestly should not be running Monster Reborn. While I could still tech a Monster Reborn in just in case I don't have Necro Valley on the field and I need to use it, but in my opinion, Necro Valley is on the field for way too long of the amount, or way too long time wise to run Monster Reborn. Dark Hole, it's a good, you can still run Dark Hole in this deck. I personally don't run it because I want to keep my big beaters on board, because the only way they're going to get rid of it is their own Dark Holes. So in other words, your Dark Hole is going to be somewhat dead for you, because you're just going to beat over their monsters anyways. And then Heavy Storm, I just don't like it because I've got so many cards I want to stay on the field, such as Skill Drain and Skill Drain, Dark Bribe, Necro Valley, stuff like that. So it's just, I don't feel like it's running. But you still want to get rid of opponent's back rows, so Triple MST does that job fine. Limited Removal, it works with every single monster in the deck, and it creates an OTK with pretty much most of the deck. 2 Forbidden Lance, just to protect your fortress from being, like, if they bottomless, you just Forbidden Lance. That's all you have to do. And then they have to worry about your, then they wasted 2,000 life points in a Solemn Warning, so they're already down 1 Solemn Warning. That's like, this makes them -1 pretty much, and it's just so good. Book of Moon, it stops an attack if necessary, and it has other uses too, but, you know, it just, if you can't get over a monster, like if they have Malefic Cyber Dragon, Malefic Cyber Dragon only has 2,800 defense, so you can push over with your own Malefic Cyber if you want to. For the traps, you have Triple Skill Drain. This should be an obvious choice. I also run 1 Fiendish Chain. I like what Brendan Beckman said about the 1 Fiendish Chain in there. He felt that Skill Drain wasn't enough for the effect stopping, and he needs a little bit more to stop his opponent's effect. Not to stop his own effects, just to stop his opponent's effects. And that Fiendish Chain was it is also pretty much the only true attack stopping card in the deck. The other cards don't directly stop attacks, but they kind of indirectly can. For your trap negation, spell and trap negation cards, you run Triple Dark Bribe, 1 7 Tools of the Bandit, and 1 Starlight Road. Obviously the Triple Dark Bribe is staple in any deck, and giving them that 1 card, it's not like it really matters, because if you're going to keep your Skill Drain on board, or your Necro Valley on board by Dark Bribing their Heavy Storm or MST, you're plussing from it, so why not go ahead and just, even, like with this card, you're losing life points also. With this card, they're getting a card. I'd rather give them a card than lose life points, even with this deck, because Skill Drain, you pay for the life points. You actually are okay with taking a few hits, so paying more life points is just not very good. And Starlight Road just for the heavy and Torrential and Dark Hole and Mirror Force and stuff like that. Last but not least is 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device. This card is just so good. I cannot stress how good it is. It is probably one of my favorite traps of all time, if not my favorite. It's just so good and creates so many good plays for you to do in 1 turn. You know, it opens up more plays. It opens up a little bit more versatility in your game, and I personally think it's just a great card. As for the whole deck as together, it does run a small amount of monsters. If you really wanted to, you could do what Brendan Beckman did and add in the triple card Ds and add in Cyber Dragon and stuff like that. The extra deck obviously is whatever you want pretty much, except it has to contain 3 Cyber Dragons and 1 Stardust Dragon for the Starlight Road. And then it pretty much has, it doesn't have to, but it pretty much has to contain at least 1 number 11 Big Eye, and if you really think it's a good card like I do, I think it's an amazing card, you should also include number 7 Lucky Straight. Also, in my extra deck, I will be including Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. I'll also be including a few rank 4s. I'll be including a Gear Gigant X, a Photon Papal Operative, and a Maystroke the Symphony Djinn just for these guys, because they can sit on field for long periods of time sometimes. So let me know what you guys thought of the deck. Let me know what you thought of the video. Rate, comment, subscribe. Check out my other videos, and I will see you in the next video.